Yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you about the issue of words. Now, I've just made a video talking about the issue of guile, but in this video, maybe just on a slightly different angle, I just wanted to talk about the issue of words. And there are many people out there, whether Christian or not, who say that words don't matter. For instance, if someone is being verbally abusive, is mocking you or saying nasty things towards you, anything that can be hurtful, it's said that it doesn't matter. Words don't matter, and it's very often it's said that you need to be thick-skinned. Don't take everything that's said to you to heart. Don't just ignore it. But I just want to show you in this video that words do matter actually, and we should be careful what we say to others. So Nikola Tesla was actually, I would say, think the best inventor there was here on this earth. Of course, they've tried to cover up Nikola Tesla's history because Nikola Tesla was cheated out of many of his inventions, and many of these inventions are actually being used for nefarious purposes. For instance, I've done a video already on the Venezuelan earthquake, and I said potentially the Venezuelan earthquake could have been caused by an earthquake machine, and of course we can't prove that for sure. But I don't believe that some of these so-called natural disasters are happening naturally. It's interesting how the US, and I even hear that Israel have rushed in to Venezuela and to so-called help out. But now we hear that even their children are being trafficked and are being taken away from their parents. Those who have survived the earthquake. So there's a lot going on, but they'll make it look like it's a natural disaster and it's just happening organically when it's not. But Nikola Tesla invented many things, and one of the many things that it did that actually changed the world was that most of the world actually uses AC electricity, and that's something that was invented by Nikola Tesla. Before that, the world was using DC electricity, but he came along and changed that. So anyway, the point of referring to Nikola Tesla is I just wanted to share what a quote that's attributed to him. He said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." So what does this have to do with words? Well, when we speak, our words cause vibrations, which is just one of three elements that Nikola Tesla said need to be understood if you want to understand how the universe works. Okay, if there is such a thing as a universe, but whatever the things that God created, perhaps we can refer to that as a universe. If you want to understand what God created, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I was just saying earlier that our words cause vibrations. And how do words cause vibrations? Well, sound is carried through the air and it goes into our ears, and in our ears we have eardrums and other things that vibrate. Okay, and that's how we hear sound. Perhaps that's a very simplistic way of explaining it, but yeah, words cause vibrations. I think we can all agree on that. The fact that words cause vibrations, and Nikola Tesla said, in order to understand the universe, we need to understand these three things, including vibration. I think it's important that we are careful what words we speak. So I think many of you know this English statement where it said that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, or words will never harm me. And I actually used to believe this, but I found that it's actually not true. And we'll see from many verses that I have here from the Bible that this is not true. Okay, words can be very hurtful, and of course, there's the issue of human psychology that comes into all this. That words that are said to one individual may be hurtful, but the same words said to a different individual may not be that hurtful. It's all to do with our characters, and yes, perhaps the whole thing about having a thick skin. It differs from person to person, but words do have an effect. They can have a positive effect or even a negative effect. In fact, it's been said that even some of the things that, for instance, things that we say to our children, if we say negative things to our children, whether they are abusive things or whether we say discouraging words to them, saying you never amount to anything, you're useless, and things like that. Those kind of negative words. They can have a very negative and harmful impact on children because it will end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. Some people who never achieve anything in life because they were told that they are useless. The first text I want to refer to, Psalms 34 verse 13. It says, "Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile." And guile is the word guile means trickery or deception. Okay, so if words are not important and it doesn't really matter, and you just need to have a thick skin and absorb the impact of whatever words are being said to you, why is it said? We're saying here that we should keep our tongue from saying evil things and speaking guile. So just in case I forget, let me just tell you my personal experience of what happened to me. Remember, I said that I used to actually believe the statement that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But I have had many times, both from family members, relatives, and former work colleagues, have said very hurtful things to me, which ended up hurting me. So one of the things that really hurt me was. Basically, I fell out with my dad, and after he was very abusive to me, he was abusive to both me and my wife, and I've said this many times, and I don't like repeating it over and over again because I've said it already in my personal testimony, which you can find on my channel. But I'd passed through Zambia to visit him because he's in Zambia. And Zambia, for those who don't know, is a neighboring country to Zimbabwe. I'm in Zimbabwe at the moment. He was abusive to my wife. And then after we had an argument, basically at my uncle's house, and then he said to me after the argument was over, he said, "Don't tell your mom that we had an argument, otherwise she's going to die." But obviously that was all to do with him protecting himself because he had been very abusive to me. So when I told my mom what had happened in Zambia, of which he had already made contact with my mom to tell my mom that. To make false accusations against me, saying that I had attacked him for no reason. When I called my mom to give my side of the story, my dad was very angry with me, and he basically sent me a text message saying, "You and your wife can go to hell." Now, those words really hurt me. So the point of telling you all this is, it actually affected my mental and physical health to the extent that I started having very bad breath and. I was constantly having these thoughts going round and round in my head, not just the actual text where I was told to go to hell with my wife, but everything that had happened with my dad from the time I was a child. Everything was just going round and round in my head. So words do have an effect, and you shall see that we're also encouraged to speak encouraging words and also to refrain from not just using guile, but offensive words as well. So just moving on, Psalms 31 verse 1 says, "I said I will take heed to my ways that I sit not." I sin not. Yeah, I sin not with my tongue. How do you sin with your tongue? By saying things, by telling lies, for instance, by being abusive to others. I will keep my mouth with a bridle. A bridle is something that's used to control a horse, okay? While the wicked is before me. Yeah, so we're supposed to control our mouths. We're supposed to control the words that come out of our mouth, not like what's happening in the world now, especially in Western countries where there seems to be a lot of vulgar and abusive language, which is spoken as part of normal day-to-day language, Psalms 120 verse 2 says, "Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue." Ephesians 4:29 let no corrupt communication. Corrupt communication is talking about words, abusive, vulgar words. So let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. What the words that we should speak? They should be that which is good to the use of edifying. Now, what does that mean? Ephesians 4:29. Let's just go and look that up. Ephesians 4:29. The word edifying means to build up. Okay. In other words, to encourage others. The act of one who promotes another's growth in Christian wisdom, piety, happiness, holiness. Okay. To edify means to encourage others, to build them up. Okay. So that's our words or our communication should not be rude, abusive, vulgar, but should encourage others. Proverbs 16:24, pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. Yeah, pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. So even the words that we speak, they can cause someone to be in good health, or they can cause someone to be in bad health. Like the example that I gave of what happened to me, that certain words that were said to me actually affected my health, both my physical and my mental health. Psalms 19:14, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. There's actually a song that has been made out of this psalm. So once again, the question I want to ask is, if sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, why would David say this in the Psalms? Because words do matter. Psalms 57 verse 4, my soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue, when he says tongue, he's talking about words, okay, and their tongue a sharp sword. So words can be like a sharp sword, they can cause hurt or harm. Okay, 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. That includes our communication, which we've read earlier, that our communication should be used for edifying others. So everything, whether therefore you eat or drink, whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. So he is talking about eating the things that God said we should eat, and not eating those that he said are unclean, and drinking things that are good for our bodies, not drinking alcohol, which is a poison. Okay, but it says here, whatsoever you do, including communication, the words that we speak, they should give glory to God. Okay. James 3 verse 8, but the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. You see that? Deadly poison means, remember that when it says tongue, it means words, okay? Our tongue is used for tasting food, yes, but it's also used for speaking as well, for forming words in our mouth. The words that we speak, they can be full of deadly poison. Now, what does deadly poison do? It kills, okay? And in fact, before I forget, I just wanted to, and I'm sure many of you know this already, that there are many people out there who have committed suicide because of words that have been said to them. And in fact, even with me, I had suicidal thoughts when I was abused by my parents, okay, and others. So yeah. Do we really want to say things to someone else that can cause them to commit suicide? That's not a good thing. Okay. James 3 verse 9. Therewith bless we God. Still talking about the tongue. Okay. With the tongue we bless God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men. We bless God with our tongues, but also we curse men with our tongues, like what happened to me, which are made after the similitude of God. Human beings are made in the image of God, but we bless God and then we curse man with the same tongue. James 3 verse 10, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be. So it's not true that words don't matter. Words do matter, okay? It says here these things ought not to be. It shouldn't be like that. Especially for those who claim to be Christians. Matthew 5:44, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse me. So if someone curses you, you're not supposed to curse them back, okay? Do good to them that hate you. And I know that it's very hurtful when you get cursed. I was cursed, okay, and it hurt me quite a lot, but it's saying here, do not curse those who curse you. Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you, as much as despitefully use you and persecute you, as much as you want to take revenge, but also remember that vengeance belongs to God, okay? As much as it hurts when you are offended because someone has said something bad to you, or even cursed you, once again, what happened with me, my dad actually cursed me and my wife. Pray about it, and even the issue of forgiveness comes into all this, in that we are told that we should forgive those who offend us, and forgiveness sometimes it also varies from person to person. There are some who can forgive someone even for the worst thing in the world within a day, but for some it takes time. Forgiveness sometimes takes time, okay? And forgiveness, I found also that you can also need help from God to forgive someone. It doesn't come, forgiveness sometimes doesn't come naturally, and once again it can take time. Last verse, Luke 6:28, bless them that curse you. This is kind of like similar to what was said up here. Bless them that curse you and pray for them which despitefully use you. Those that they basically want to take advantage of you, pray for them which want to take advantage of you. But what I would say is, also there comes a point when you've given someone many chances and they're cursing you and despitefully using you and swearing at you and offending you. There might come a point where you just need to go separate ways, okay? But don't put yourself in an environment where you're constantly being abused. It's not good for your health, okay? Remember, there's that verse that says, above all, I wish that you'll be in good health. Don't allow yourself to be a victim of abuse. There are times when you need to walk away, and we see many examples of that in the scriptures. For instance, Abraham and Lot went separate ways. Paul and Barnabas went their separate ways. It says that the contention between Paul and Barnabas was so sharp that they had to go separate ways. Okay. We have many instances in the Bible where people went separate ways because they couldn't agree. So you don't think because someone is a family member or sibling or a parent that you have to put up with their abuse. Okay, you can also walk away from abusive relationships, and maybe explain your reason for walking away. No one is right to abuse another person. So don't believe this whole thing that words don't matter. Words can affect you. So be careful about the types of relationships that you're in. That's what I wanted to share. I hope everything makes sense to you. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.